Hey guys, it's Johan Basala. Happy Monday. And guys, we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. It's about, does money actually bring happiness? Now, I was going to do this recording live while I was doing my Clubhouse training session. We had about 24 people register today, and I decided not to do a live recording on YouTube because there's a few people who wanted to talk something very personal about their journey with money, and it wasn't fair. And they suggested that if I could not publish this, and I thought that's fair enough. Got to keep things private, and especially when it comes to money, relationships, and things like that too. Sometimes we've got to respect people's privacy. But guys, before we start this subject, if you can share, subscribe, and share this content with some family and friends, I'll be truly, truly appreciative. The last 2-week training sessions have been great. And what I want to do now is keep growing this community as well. And guys, if you require any personal coaching, please reach out. We are now taking students again, and I can send you an information pack via email to tell you what we do, how we can help, and all that kind of stuff. So today's question, guys, does money actually bring happiness? And I wrote a few things about this. And my conclusion is it does and it doesn't. So my theory behind this, guys, is this, and I hope it makes sense, is that money can solve some problems, but also money doesn't solve all the problems in life. So of course there's going to be some joy that you can get out of money. That's just the truth. But then there's a lot of things that it can't just solve, and it is what it is. And what I've learned, guys, with the journey of money is not to treat it as an emotional object, but rather to treat it as a tool to use to either make more money, to spend money, to live, all that kind of stuff. And I think what's the most interesting thing is when I've developed this philosophy about treating money as an object rather than an emotional being or attachment, I've actually attracted and made more money. And it's just very, very weird, but it seems like the less I worry about money, the less I get sad about money if I make a financial mistake. And as long as I learn the lessons, you seem to attract more. So this is my theory, okay? Is I believe that money does bring some sort of happiness. And what I mean by that is if you can provide some financial security, financial independence, you've got a roof over your head, you can invest, you can go on a holiday, all these cool things, it does require money. And something that my wife and I are very passionate about is we actually tithe, which is donating essentially 10% of our income that we make both from our wages, from our shares, our dividends, and projects that we do and coaching and that. We actually donate 10% of that to our local church because we are building a new church. And that actually brings me joy because as a Christian, doesn't matter what religion, if you're a believer or not believer, whatever you are, but to me personally, there's nothing better than seeing a church being built. It's creating jobs. There's construction workers that are getting paid, architects that are getting paid, which is great. And more importantly, it's something that we believe in. And because it's a tangible object, I can see it and I can feel it. And as we draw closer to the completion of this big church that we're building in Melbourne, it's made me more passionate about making more money, right? And that's the biggest thing I'm learning. The less I focus making money for myself, the more I end up making more money. It is just so weird. So that brings me a lot of happiness within that. Where does money not bring me happiness? Okay. And one of my mentors taught me something really, really well. He taught me 3 things. Number 1 is imagine you're the richest person. So the richest person in the world, and that person is 99 years old and they're about to die tomorrow. That person will give up all their money tomorrow to be 30, 35 or 36 years old or even 40 years old or even 50-year-old again. They would want to go back to time and be young. And if they didn't have that money, they would rather go back in time and have that spare time to do what they want to do again. So that's a very important thing. And, something very personal is, when my father passed away, he wasn't on the bed saying, oh my God, I should have made more or made less money. He was just worried about the family, about being close to the family at that point. And that taught me that money doesn't just bring happiness as well. Where else does money doesn't bring happiness? I think if you're a toxic person, if you're in a toxic relationship, Money's not going to solve any of those things because they're just inner things that you need to fix yourself, guys. So a lot of people think that, once I have money, I'll be a nicer person. Once I have money, I can go to the gym. Once I have money, I'll be more motivated to enjoy life. But believe it or not, that's just an excuse. I believe once you get that money, you're going to be that same kind of a person, maybe even worse, because they generally say that all money does, it brings out the person who you are the most. So if you're an idiot, you're going to be more of an idiot. If you're a person who likes to serve their community, you're going to be more of a service to your community. If you're a great leader, all that money is going to do is bring you out to be a better leader. That's what money does. It amplifies who you are already. So you got to get out of that notion that money does bring you happiness and it changes your life and all that kind of stuff, right? And I think, unfortunately, we live in a world where people live in two extremes, where people would be like, if I had all this money, all I would do is drive my Ferrari around in circles all day. I wouldn't work. I'd sit down on the beach. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to share with you a quick story about money. And I hope it brings sense into what I'm trying to point out, that it doesn't always bring you happiness, but it does at the same time. If you don't know my story, guys, I was brought up in a household where money, the topic of money was never talked about. And my parents literally lived paycheck to paycheck. As soon as my mum or dad lost a job, it was game over. It was very, very, very hard. I think in 1991, 1992, my parents were literally asking for some handouts just to get by. And I think I was about 8 or 9 years old at that time. And I know I always said to myself, I never want to be in that position. So as soon as I hit 2021, I accumulated a lot of money. I was working, 3 jobs, very crazy hours and all that kind of stuff. And I was able to buy my first property quite young. And my dream was just to have one house paid off and another investment property. And I did that by the age of 24. And then things got crazy. I started hanging around with the wrong people. I started drinking, partying, going out, doing all this crazy stuff. And all I was wanting to do in my life was just to chase and accumulate money. And that happened between the age of 26 to 27 to about 30 years old. And honestly, for those 3 years, it was like a blip. Life went very, very fast. I lived a very, very fast, crazy ass life. I had 3 houses then. I had the Mercedes and all that kind of fancy stuff. Lived a really good life. And I remember waking up one morning, I was about 30 or 31 years old, and I was actually very, very down and depressed. And I thought to myself, I need a big reset. I'm not happy with the person I am and all that kind of stuff. And I was investing in so many different projects that I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of my wealth when I hit about 30 years old. And I remember reaching out to my friend. I was about to buy another property, and we went through the numbers, and I wasn't in a good position. Was not in a good position at all. And I had to basically tell my wife, saying, babe, we can't buy the house of our dreams. We had all this lifestyle, and it was just very, very, very messy period of my life. I was inconsistent with work, and it was just all over the shop. And I basically got humbled. And I remember this, where I sat down, and I think I'd have been about mid-30s or 34 at the time. And I said, something's got to change. I've been chasing money for a long time, made a lot of money, lost some money, and I had to change, the way I do work and operate as a human being. And in 4 years' time, so I'm like 38 now, because of the lessons that I've learned, I've changed who I am, got the right help from mentors and things like that, and really take stock in myself. And I just changed the way I am as a person. What I noticed was, not only was I able to recover financially quite quickly to the level that I was before, which was great, but more importantly, I was able to excel. And as every year goes by, my financial position always improves. Do I have bumps in the road? Of course we all do, especially when you're entrepreneurial and you've got various projects on the go. There are things that are going to happen up and down. That's life. But generally speaking, I attract a lot of money and I contract really well. But the difference is, it doesn't change who I am. And it doesn't change the type of person. It doesn't make me happier. It doesn't make me sadder. It's just an object. What makes me happy is what I do with that money. So, to give you an example, I had one of my share portfolios where I got paid a really huge dividend, and I was able to donate more to my local church. That made me really happy. So I'm all about giving on that sense of the bridge as well. And I think one of the most interesting things that's happened is I was such in a rush to make so much money so I can stop working young that as soon as I stopped working for 6 months, I hated myself. And I've actually come to realize that I love working. And, I talk about this personally to a lot of my close friends and my family. The most important thing I've got is I've got a 30-year goal, which is awesome. So I'm never going to retire from work, but I'm going to be accumulating a lot of wealth to do a lot of things. And, one of the things I want to do in the next few years is to open up my own studio so we can do some proper recordings. I can lease it out to other people who want to do podcasts and all this kind of stuff as well. So that's on the burner at the moment. And I'm trying to do a lot of research and see how we can build it up. Maybe buy a small building. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe another house. I'm going to figure it out, but I will come up with something. So yeah, basically all I want to say that money can bring happiness, but trust me, money doesn't also buy you happiness as well. And as long as you use money for the right things in the right way, you're going to be fine. But more importantly, you've got to change who you are inside in order to become a better person, to be a better person for not just for yourself, but for everyone else. And if you're lacking money, guys, it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of opportunities out there. And guys, I'm just a simple guy from Melbourne who started from nothing, made a lot, I lost a lot. And then in a few years' time, I built up to a better level. So if I can do it, you can do it. And guys, if you need anything else, just reach out. Always happy to help. Take care.